For logging on to the daily DVAR halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, the 13th day of October. Here we go. We are now in the middle of Chol Hamoed, of course, and I want to tell you a few things that you still need to know as the holiday proceeds. First of all, if you have not said Tashlich yet, because not everyone was able to say it on Rosh Hashanah, and some people didn't even get to say it during the 10 days of repentance, there still is a chance to say it all the way up to Hoshana Rabbah, which is this Wednesday. That is the final seal on the seal of our judgment, and so there still is time to do Tashlich then. So if you haven't, you still have time. Yalav, you know, is said in all of your Shmona Esreis throughout this entire holiday. And if you forget to say Yalav, with the addition, of course, of Sukkos being inserted inside of the Yalav, then you would have to repeat the Shmona Esrei. That applies to Shachris and Mincha and Marav. If you're used to it not applying to Marav, that's because usually the Yalav that we say for Rosh Chodesh, that wouldn't make you have to repeat your Shmona Esrei if you forgot it, if it's at Marav time. But that's for a totally different reason, and that's because the Kiddush HaChodesh, the sanctifying of the new moon, which was done in old times by the courts, was never done at night, and therefore the Yalav Rosh Chodesh mention at night is considered a little less significant, and therefore if it was forgotten you wouldn't repeat the Shemona Esrei. But for all other reasons, the Yalav is something that has to be said in any of your Shemona Esreis, and if you would forget it in Shachris or Mincha or Marav, for the holiday of Sukkot, for example, then you would have to repeat the Shemona Esrei. So please be very careful to say that I like to always add. It's not exactly a law written in the Shulchan Aruch, but to those of you who, sometimes space out in your Shemona Esrei, which you shouldn't, but you could end up inadvertently saying B'yom Rosh HaChodesh Hazeh, because that's what you most often say. So be careful, stay focused to make sure that you're saying Yalav Yavo, and make sure that you're inserting the Sukkos addition. If your Aravos are becoming dried out, then you must replace them if they're all dried out and withered away. I mention the Aravos because they're the ones that usually go first, but if it's happening for some reason because you mishandled your Hadassim, then those two should be replaced. It is okay to replace them in the middle of the holiday, nothing wrong with doing that. So check on your Aravos, especially if they're all dried out and crumbling, then you might have to replace them. As far as what to do during Chol Hamoed, don't go with the feeling that, in Chol Hamoed you can do everything. It's not exactly how it works. The things that the rabbis permitted us to do during Chol Hamoed are the things that we generally need for the holiday. So if you see people shopping on the holiday, they're going to their food store to get food that they need for the holiday, and that's allowed. If you need to get clothes for the Yom Tov, then you can go and buy yourself clothes for Yom Tov. But if you just want to shop for the fun of it, for stuff that you're not using for Yom Tov, and you're buying and making all kinds of business transactions that you don't need to be making during Chol Hamoed, that's not proper. We only shop and buy and do business transactions and do stuff in general on Chol Hamoed for the need of the Moed. If you wanted to take your family apple picking as a need of the Moed, a need for the holiday to keep the children entertained, then it would be okay, but just collect the apples that you would need for the holiday. To come home with 30 pounds of apples so that you can make apples whatever for the next 6 months, that wouldn't really be for the need of the Moed, would it? Or if you're going to overpick, or in general, anything that you're going to do during the holiday which you think goes outside of these boundaries, please check with your rabbi. One of the things that your rabbi will sometimes factor in to make something permissible for you to do during the Chol Hamoed period is something that will be lost. And there's a fantastic opportunity to buy something now, and by the time Chol Hamoed is gone, the opportunity will be gone. Then it might be permissible, but don't go deciding that on your own. Please check with your rabbi if you're doing anything a little bit too interesting during Chol Hamoed, and check with your rabbi if it is okay. Thanks for logging on. Have a good Moed, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.